Today's social media segment is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System. Your health is our legacy. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bork, know your rights.
Everybody, welcome into Going Public. I am Harry McCullough. This week we're joined, of course, by David Ravelay, the Executive Director of the Terrebonne Port Commission. And welcome, Dave. And you actually have a guest this week.
Yeah, thanks. I'm happy to be here. And I brought with me today Bill Purvis. He's the president of the Port Commission, and he's also general manager of Thomas C. Marine Constructors. And the reason I brought him here today is because the project that they're getting ready to start working on, and it's causing a lot of interest all over. That we getting phone calls all the time. But they have the USS Kidd, the vessel that was sitting outside of Baton Rouge on the river. They're bringing it in to do some work, and I wanted to share with the audience what they'll be doing and how long it'll be there. And so with that, I'll turn it over to Bill and see he can explain all that to us.
Well, David, thanks for the invite. Yeah, we were awarded the Kidd. We started talking to the foundation probably about a year ago, maybe a little over a year ago. And they went with 3 different shipyards here in the state of Louisiana, and we were the successful bidder. It's an interesting project for us, but probably most importantly, it's a good project for our community. You know, it's a good project for the port. You know, it's drawing a lot of national attention to us. You know, I travel with Thomas C, and I get up to New York and different places, and everybody thinks we only have 10 feet of water here in Houma. So over the years, you know, we've been successful in getting deeper water, getting dredging. You know, the previous council and parish president and the current parish president and current council, they really support the port, and that enabled us to get the Kidd here. We had no problems at all towing it in. Crosby was the service provider to get it up here to us. We got it secured last Thursday afternoon. We're in the process of just starting to open it up, clean it up, go in and do our tank inspections, and getting ready to prep it to go up on dry dock. There was a lot of fanfare leaving Baton Rouge with the river depths. River stages were dropping. We needed 36 foot of water to get the vessel out. We ended up with 32. Had to go in and modify the rudder a little bit to get it out. The players that were involved, I want to give them a little praise and glory. So TNT Salvage out of Galveston just really hit a home run with us. McKinney Salvage out of Baton Rouge, you know, they provided a lot of services and the vessels that got us out of the cradle and gave us a place to top for a few days to get the vessel ready to get underway. You know, United States Coast Guard from Baton Rouge, New Orleans, and Houma were all involved and make sure the vessel was secured to tow and get it over here. So it was a team effort, and a lot of people playing their part. So it was a non-event getting it out of the cradle, which was a good thing for us. And we're just getting ready to go up on dry dock, so it'll be a slow build process.
Yeah, you were working right next to a casino. That's why it was so, you
Yes.
didn't have a whole lot of room to
Yeah,
work with.
we had about probably 75 feet to spare between the end of the tugboat and the casino itself in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, awesome. And so it'll be here how long?
For 9 months.
9 months. And same kind of deal. You need to be there where the water's right to get it back up.
Right, they're gonna have, once the river gets low enough, they'll be issuing a contract to go in and modify the cradle, change out some rubber on it. And what's gone on with the life of the vessel over the years sitting in Baton Rouge is the vessel makes that transition from sitting hard on the cradle to floating. It has a tendency to bounce, and as it was bouncing, though, it did some damage to the bottom of the hull. So we'll be cropping and renewing those areas. They're going to paint it to a World War II configuration camouflage paint job that was prevalent during the World War II. So that's going to be interesting to do.
Camouflage?
Camouflage would be an original camouflage.
So it's not navy gray?
No, it won't be. It no longer be navy gray. It's going to be blues and grays and shades of blues and shades of grays and probably a little white mixed up in it. So if you do a little research through some of the books, you can see some of the camouflage schemes they have.
Well, can you tell us a little more about that boat? So you said it's right at 360 feet long?
About 377 feet long. It was probably, for me, one of the most amazing things is they built that vessel in 6 months.
6 months.
6 months from the
You,
time
you
that
guys
they,
get jobs like in 6 months nowadays?
we can't even get a drawing approved in 6 months. So, but no, it really was. It's
Beautiful boat.
you can see why they call that generation America's greatest generation.
So what year was it commissioned?
She was commissioned, I believe, in 41. She had a kamikaze pilot hit her on the starboard side, just underneath the gunboat, and the bomb went through and exploded on the port side and killed 38 men during that attack. But they call it America's greatest generation. If you get up inside that ship and you look around and you see the conditions those guys lived in and how hot it had to be in those engine rooms with all them steam boilers and just a tight confinement of spaces, it's just, then you think it was 18, 19, and 20-year-old kids. I've got a son who's 20 years old.
Right.
And you think about what those kids went through on that ship. Park Stevenson is the museum director, and the entire crew from that museum, they are in love with that vessel. They can tell you everything you want to know about it. I would recommend you get Parks down here and interview him.
Good idea.
Yeah.
I mean, they really would. Liberty Cat. I'm gonna throw a little free plug out here. I don't know if I'm supposed to or not, but I'm going to. But Liberty Cafe downtown is going to run a special while it's here. And a meal that was similar to what they would have eaten during World War II on board the vessel, and he's going to donate a portion of those proceeds to the foundation for the museum.
That is awesome. Now we were just talking and some things I didn't know. World War II. First of all, it had to go to work, and the kids that were on it. But it was built by women.
Mainly women. Rosie the
Well,
Riveters.
you ought to do the same thing out there at Thomasy, right?
Hey, look, we have a lot of women work for Thomasy, and we encourage their employment.
No, absolutely.
They make some of the best welders, really, because of that eye-hand coordination. And we have one young lady that could start with a left hand and grab it with a right hand, keep on going, never break a bead until she got pregnant.
And she had to work around a little bit.
She had to quit.
How fast does that boat go,
Yeah.
Bill?
It was design speed of 39 knots. So
39 knots.
39 knots.
At 277 feet.
370.
I mean, 370.
Yeah, that's why they call them the greyhounds of the sea.
In the
because they were
40s.
so fast.
Right.
I mean, that's fast for the 40.
So how big are the props and what kind of engine?
It's all turbine, steam powered boilers. So there's really no engines. And the props, I believe, are about 12 foot in diameter. They hang beneath the baseline as well. It's a three bladed prop and a single rudder.
And so what runs the boiler?
Steam.
Okay,
Diesel.
but I mean, where
but
you get
it's
from?
they're fire. It's number
coal
6
fired.
oil.
It's coal.
No, it was oil.
Oil.
Number 6 oil is what it ran on.
Wow, that's incredible. And you're right. We ought to know more about the history of these
Yeah.
kind of things that we built. And man, those things made a difference. And it was at Pearl Harbor?
No, she wasn't in Pearl Harbor, but
Oh,
the
they got-
admiral she's named
I got
after
you.
was killed in Pearl Harbor.
I got you.
And his wife was the sponsor of the vessel. And then they earned the nickname the Pirates of the Pacific with the vessel. It's the only vessel that's allowed to fly the Jolly Roger flag.
This,
Really.
Kid.
When they came up, it was flying the Jolly Roger on the way in. And they took it down, and they guard that flag. I mean,
I think I've seen that. I didn't know that either.
Yeah, so-
That's real interesting.
Amazing.
So, we'll have this visitor, and I think we were sharing beforehand. I saw a 60 Minutes piece on the USS New Jersey that was being recommissioned. They had people come in and we were able to go touch the boat and look at it. You're not sure what they're going to do here for that.
it's been discussed. There's a lot of moving pieces, parts that make something like that happen. But it's not off the table, but
Right.
it's not on the table either, right?
Sure. Well, you'll be able to go see it in 9 months in Baton Rouge, right? You can
and
touch
that's
it there.
Like Park says, that's the only museum ship in the world you can see on the bank and in the water at the same time, you know, because when the river drops, she's high and dry. You can get out and walk underneath it, see the propellers, touch the rudders, whatever you want to see on the bottom side of it.
So I'm just interested in how you bid on something like this. I mean, you guys deal with, I mean, obviously you've had some big boats there, and it's
Right.
so interesting to watch what you guys do over there off Industrial Boulevard and on the port. How do you know with the bid and the specs and that kind of stuff?
You know, that's just an educated guess. It really is. You know, anybody can tell you they can just come in and nail it right off the bat. I probably wouldn't do business.
They work with you though, I'm sure, right?
It's not really.
And you,
It's an educated guess. I mean, it's you know, it's based upon experience, and you go, you crawl the vessels and you look at them, and you know, the more information you have, the closer you can get your bids. But it's still just.
and is there any repairs to be done, or are you just gonna?
Yes, there's where the vessel's been bumping up on the cradle. There's several inserts we'll do on the bottom and on the side shell area. And then there's a part of the trans that's gonna be changed out. They're gonna pull the 40 caliber machine guns off and send them out and get them redone. They're gonna put some things back to the original World War II configuration. There's some berthing areas that were modified and put in the store. So they're gonna take all that out and put it back in the berthing areas and just try to get it as close to the way it was when it was built.
I got you. And you guys are dealing with the Parks Commission, or are you dealing
No,
with the
it's,
Coast Guard?
it's,
or
it's the
United
museum. The
States?
museum itself, the state of Louisiana actually owns the vessel, and so it's the museum itself is who we are answering. The Museum Commission, which is Mr. Les Nicholson and that group.
All right, David, this has to be cool to have something like this in our port, right?
Absolutely. It's just like Bill said, it just shows that we can get vessels like this in. We work hard to keep it dredged. We stay on the core as much as we can. And, you know, it's really a good visual for Terrebonne Port.
Did you have to do anything to get that boat up here?
Myself?
Well, the
No.
Houma now.
No. Well, I did call
ready to go.
I did call the Corps ahead of time and tried to get the hydro crew out there to survey to see where we were. But like I said, that takes a month and a half for the Corps, and they still don't have it done. And I called them a month and a half ago. So, you know,
The boat could have been built
It's just the way. That's right.
in the 40s. Well, great. This is so interesting, and we'll of course talk more about the HNC maintenance, and we'll do all that. Let's take a break right here on Going Public. We'll be right back.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by South Louisiana Bank. It's better when we bank together. Waits and Downer, attorneys at law. Terrebonne Ford, built Ford tough.
Everybody, welcome back to Going Public. I am Harry McCullough. We're spending some time with David Ravelet and Bill Purvis, Port Commission of Terrebonne, the executive director and the president of the Terrebonne Port. So thanks so much for being here with us. We've been talking about the USS Kidd that's coming in, going to be our visitor for 9 months, but still a lot of industry going on besides the Kidd. So Dave, you want to tell us about the HNC and the maintenance dredging that's going on?
Yeah, so like we discussed last time, the inland dredging was completed last June, and we probably won't have to dredge that for another 10 years or longer, unless we get a bad storm. But and the bay dredging is where we dredge all the time. That last 12 miles, it goes right through Terrebonne Bay, and that was completed at the end of December. All the surveys are posted on the website for the Corps. So right now we're preparing for summertime, which is when we usually dredge, and the Corps is getting ready to get out there and do some hydro surveys so we can determine the depths and where we need to dredge. And it never silts in the whole thing. It's always in one area, one or two areas that we have to, and it's a different area every year. So we looking forward to the Corps getting out there and letting us know what we got, and hopefully the budget that the Corps has for 24 is enough to handle the amount of dredging we have to do. So it's just part of the process. We do it every year. You know?
It is, and hurricane season is on the way too. It's supposed to be an active season, so hopefully we don't have to deal with that and have, you know, some of our channels pushed in and like we have.
We need the rocks
storms come.
on the east side of the channel. That'll protect the channel from all the silt falling in. It's a sediment trap, and until we get a row of rocks from Timberlake Island to Cocodrie, we're going to continue to have that same problem.
Yeah.
And but it's a very costly thing to do. We're applying for some grants right now, and hopefully, got our fingers crossed, we'll get one and we can get it started. You know, Gordy with CPRA, they're planning to rock Timberlake Island. And in fact, Gordy, if you let Gordy go, he's going to rock the whole coast, and that's what he wants to do, and that's what needs to happen. But you know, like I said, it's going to cost a lot of money. But hopefully, we can get a grant and get with Gordy and CPRA and figure out where they're going to stop the rocks when they wrap it around the western end of the island, and we can pick up from there and go north. You know, we're not asking for the whole jetty because it would cost a fortune. We just said we're going to try to do it in small bites, do a mile section, a mile and a half section, and see how it works and see how long.
Right, you can experiment on the way in.
Because the rocks will definitely sink, and you know that's going to be a maintenance project after they're put in place. But it's something that we really need. It will give mariners the confidence in the depth of the channel. You know, right now, everybody that uses the channel, that's accustomed to the channel, they know when to come in and they know when to go out. But you get boats from the outside. Bill and them bid on a lot of projects from all over, and these boats try to come in, and if they are not successful or they get some depths that are not right, they may not come back. You know,
This is true.
And we got to stop that. You know, we tell them we got a 15-foot channel. We got a 15-foot channel, and we hopefully maintain a 15 all the time. We recently authorized to go 20, and that's what the next subject is, the deepening. And you know, once we get it to 20, we want it to stay 20.
Sure.
Because they depend on it. All these jobs, thousands of jobs in this. I would venture to say there's about 10,000 jobs, both with the fabricators in Terrebonne, all the subcontractors, the spin-off jobs. You know, for every one job, you create probably 3 spin-off jobs. Right. So it's a very, very big economic driver for Terrebonne Parish, and we just need those rocks so that we can continue that process.
Yeah, Bill, you were saying you guys put in bids all over the country, and there is not an awareness that we did have a channel that was open. You said people think it's less than that.
Right. You know, I actually was a licensed captain. I worked out of Dulac in 1980, so I've run up and down through Cat Island Pass and Houma Nav most of my career. You know, traveling around and talking with some of these major companies, you only have 10, 12 foot of water. So now we have 15, 16 foot, and it's documented. Well, the chart showed 10 or 12. So, you know, I got with the city council when there was an opening on the port commission, and was lucky enough to be selected to get on the port commission, so I could work from the inside and then be able to speak with knowledge when I go call on customers. Say, this is what we have in Port of Terrebonne. This is what we're doing. This is where we're going. And it's been instrumental. You know, when David made mention of the jobs we lost over the years, you know, we've probably lost 24 jobs, big jobs, because of water debt. People say, no, you don't have enough water, and we couldn't prove that we could. I could show you a picture of a boat drawing 20 foot of water sitting at our dock, but the chart said it wasn't possible.
Right.
So
yeah, there was a federal chart, and it had 12-foot depth, because they came in and surveyed it one time, and then they made a chart that lasts for years and years, and it had 12 feet. So Bill and I met with NOAA, and we got them to put a statement on the chart saying that it's authorized at 15 feet, and don't put a depth on it. You know, it's authorized at 15 feet. Now, sometimes sometimes it is 12, but most of the times it's over 15. When we dredge it, the Corps dredges it to -19, okay, in the bay, and that's called advanced maintenance. They allow you to do that, and then it just gradually silts back in.
Right.
But we try to stay on it. It's just something that until we get something to stop the sediment, it goes from east to west. Until we get something to stop that sediment, it's going to continue to do that.
But despite that, the success of this port has been amazing, right? I mean, some of the boats that we've seen come out of there, just when you drive by and go, look at that boat, and see the things that are going out of there. Obviously, Thomas C. has had a lot of those, and you were saying you do punch ahead above your weight class a little bit with that. But you're not the only guy there. You got Bollinger there, and you got La Ship.
West, yeah.
And all of those. So talk about that a little bit and how people should know a little bit more about what's really going on out there.
Well, yeah, I mean, between the three shipyards, and actually there's more than three shipyards,
Yeah.
but right
Sure.
here located in the very port itself, there's 3 yards. There's ECO, there's ourselves, and then Bollinger. Then you've also got Bordelon Marine, you got Crosby back over there. Then you come up on the Intercoastal Waterway, we got Main Iron Works, and then you have the LaBeouf Brothers and Berg Dry Docking. So there's a lot of shipyards in this area, and a lot of vessels coming and going. With everybody saw the landmark we had up there on the bank for a couple years, that big fishing vessel.
Yeah.
That thing draws 28 feet of water, and we got it down
Got
to
it
Houma
out of there,
Nav.
yeah.
We had floated it out on some airbags with a dry dock on the back end of it, got it out, and got her delivered. She's up in Alaska fishing right now. Yeah, so those things can happen time and time again here if we have the water depth.
Yeah.
And we build these long-term relationships with our customers. We have some projects coming to the yard, and just the incidentals that come along with it. You get a vessel here that has, let's say it's here for 5 months, and they've rented 20 hotel rooms, for 5 months.
Right.
And then all those guys eating in those meals, men and women eating those meals in restaurants, supporting the local economy. And every once in a while, somebody comes over here and falls in love with a little Cajun girl. And
He moves in, right?
yeah, well, he moves them off, and I tell him, I'll give them boys fair warning. You move a Cajun girl away for her mama, but she's coming back. She's coming back with you or without you, but the kids are going with her. So.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Dave, we were talking about just the ports in general. You're competing a lot of times with what's happening in New Orleans. They got super ports, but those ports are completely different than what we do here, right?
Yeah, those ports work on the way they measure those ports is by cargo, the tonnage of cargo that they move in and out of the New Orleans area. You have the Port of South Louisiana, you have the Port of New Orleans, the Port of Baton Rouge, the Port of Plaquemines, and the Port of St. Bernard. And those 5 ports together move more cargo than any other complex in the world. Okay, and that's great, but the cargo ports don't create as many jobs as they do down here. A shipyard, I know Bill and them have been up to 700-800 employees at a time back in the years back. It's not like that today. But they probably got 400 or 500.
Right.
But getting projects like this, and as long as we can keep the channel maintained, they're gonna get back to that, and even get bigger than that. So they deal in cargo and we deal in jobs, and it's as simple as that. And when we go to the state of Louisiana and we ask for funding for projects down here, it's all about jobs. When we built La Ship, they pledged 1,000 jobs, and they maintained about 1,200 for 2 or 3 years, and then the oil spill happened, and we had hurricanes, and it slowly went back down. I don't know what they are at today, but I'm sure they had about 400 or 500 over there, and Bollinger is going to start ramping up, and they bought the Gulf Island shipyard, and so it's just a lot of employment. It's a lot of employment, and the people. And like Bill said, the retail industry, okay, they benefit tremendously because of all the jobs that they create. The housing industry, the supermarkets, all of that stuff. Every time somebody gets a job and buys a house and raises a family, the tax dollars that circulate just from that one job is staggering. It's probably $40,000 or $50,000 a year that they circulate. It goes around, and it's just that's what the economy's made out of down here. Yeah. So when all of these yards have to shut down, or the economy, the industry gets bad, you're going to see a lot of those big box stores are going to start hurting. Sure. And retail stores are going to start closing because they don't realize how much these companies support everything in this parish, you know, and the taxes back to the parish.
Absolutely. Well, we'll have a new visitor here for the next 9 months anyway, right? Unless,
sir.
unless the water doesn't come down the Mississippi, we'll hold on to him for a little while. But USS Kidd, can you see it from the highway?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So, yeah, anybody can go Industrial Boulevard and check it
Yeah,
out.
you can drive down Rome Woodard and see her as well, see a side view.
All right. Well,
And Harry, I'll leave that video with you. You can see it anytime you want. Okay?
absolutely. Well, I appreciate it. Dave, Bill, thank you guys for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
That's Going Public. I'm Harry McCullough. We'll see you next time.